sure that we really anchor in some of these things so that you know that you're living this, right? Because for me, what it's all about is how do I need to show up in the world? Who do I need to be? So let's just talk. Do we all know that we are living in uncertain times, right? There's been a lot of transformation in the world. A lot of things are giving some uncertainty to people. We know that 2020 gave us an opportunity to really look, as you know, Jim Rohn says that that's winter, right? And then you go look at the following winter always follows spring. Following spring always follows summer. Eric, the time. Following summer always comes fall, and then we're back at winter. But what's important is our identity throughout all of those seasons. And this, my friends, is the best time to be doing this manifestation board, because you want to create your identity, especially during winter or as we come into spring. So it's a great time to reflect, to, remember who we are, remember what we stand for in the world, remember what this is all about. So here's what we're going to be doing. I want to really just have you think about that exercise that I sent you, that identity exercise. And then you also saw the quadrants when it gets time to get the boards. You also have all of your supplies there. So get ready, have some fun. But the thing is, as someone who's part of the accelerator program and also part of this group here and this experience, you need to know that you have a community that's behind you as well. So make sure that you get active in the group, ask questions. I know that you've been doing it the past couple of weeks, but I would encourage you the next couple of weeks is to really get all your questions answered and make sure you do all of the exercises that all of the speakers before have been giving to you as well. So it's so funny that I was asked to do this this week, because it was 7 years ago. And here's the other thing I'll share with you. The two best ways to learn are not through information. The two best ways to learn are through stories and by putting you in an experience. So you're going to hear me share some stories, and then you're also and then once again, we're going to be doing some exercises. We're probably going to do 2. Got me? Oh, yay, I get to see all of your beautiful faces. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? Everybody hear me? I hope you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up? Okay. So yeah, who's ready? Show me who is ready. So say, I'm ready. Put it in the chat. Let me know. And everybody point at the screen and say, it's not about the board. Everybody point at the screen. Let me see your fingers. Just point at the board and say, it's not about the board. It's not about the board. It's who I'm going to become during this process. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So once again, like I shared with you, the two best ways to learn are through experiences, putting you in an experience. And secondly, it's through stories. That's why in our profession, it's so important for us to know our story, share our story. Right? We always talk about the people that are most successful. They've just shared their story a lot more. Well, what happened was I wanted to go to this network marketing pro event that Eric and Marina had done. I'd heard about it from my friend. A friend of mine was speaking at it 8 years ago, but I couldn't go to that event because I was already doing an event. And so I was committed, and I'm like, oh man, I really want to go to that event. So instead, I don't know if anybody remembers this, about 8 years ago, you could buy the program on CDs. Think how quickly things change. Who even uses CDs anymore? Probably nobody, right? Or a very small percentage. You see it sliding out because we can just plug in now to all the digital work. So anyway, I wanted to go to this event. I bought the CDs, and the promise was you could buy the CDs for a penny. And then if you kept it after a month, you needed to pay the full price. Does anybody remember that? Let me see if I see anybody in there who actually did that. So I bought the GoPro Live CDs, DVDs, and so I decided that I was going to take them and download them to my computer so that I could listen to them when I was traveling, because I was traveling about 200 days a year. Anyway, I was there and I was at my house, and I was downloading them, and I heard Jordan Adler. You probably all heard Jordan Adler speak. If you haven't, he's an amazing speaker that speaks at GoPro. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I said to my friend, I said, please remind me to call Jordan. I said, I really want to talk to Jordan. And so I go, and the next day it just worked out, and I was taking a shower and I saw my phone ring, and it was an area code I didn't notice. And I was like, I didn't pick it up. So anyway, I get the message and I hear, hey, Loren, this is Jordan Adler. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I go, I was literally just thinking about you. And I was like, telling my friend, I need to call you. I need to connect with you. And I go, oh my gosh, that Eric Worre like GoPro event, that's insane. Like, I got to get there this year. That is crazy. I was just listening. I bought the CDs, and like him and his wife, they're awesome. So he goes, hang on a minute, Loren, hang on. And I'm like, okay. And so he comes back to the phone and he goes, what was it that you said? And has anybody been there? You're like, you've already told your story, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I have to tell the story again. So I look and I go, I was listening to these audio tapes, and I like thought I heard you speak, and I heard Eric Worre speak, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to that Eric Worre GoPro event. I got to get all my team to that Eric Worre GoPro event. And I hear this, hello, Loren, this is Eric Worre. And I'm like, oh my God, that was freaky. So anyway, him and Marina and their family, they had just moved here to Las Vegas. And there were a couple things that, they wanted to ask me. So I met them. And I met them at this restaurant that I would always, go to. And so we were talking about a couple things. My son was actually on his way to Israel to do a program that's called Birthright. But I don't know if anybody remembers 7 years ago, it's when they were having the problems with the Gaza Strip. And my son was like, Mom, do you want me to go? You're okay. I'm at the airport. Do you want me to go? And I go, no, I don't want you to go. Come home. I'm at Simon's. Come meet me. I'm having a meeting here. So he comes back, and he was not happy with me. I'm leaving the restaurant with Eric, Marina, and their son. And as I'm leaving, my son walks in, and he's got this like not very nice look, like I'm mad at my mom look. And I go, Joss, this is Eric and Marina and their son, Dominique. And he goes, hi. I go, let me try that again, Joss. This is Eric and Marina Worre. And he goes, oh my gosh. And he reaches in his bag and he goes, here's my 90-day game plan. Do you guys know when 7 years ago that was? 7 years ago this week. 7 years ago this week is when I first met Eric and Marina Worre here in Las Vegas, and they were talking about what they were creating to take it to the next level for this network marketing profession. So the reason I really want to talk about that is that it's so important. Lots of times I think now that we think that I've got this big vision of something that I want to make happen, and we go, I don't know. We see people running really fast, and what happens? We get in that comparison stage. Who's ever done that? They've gotten in that comparison stage. We're like, why not me? Guess what, you guys? They started. Do you realize that Eric started, years ago, doing only free content for 4 years? For 4 years. He did nothing but like do videos. I think it was over 600 videos on YouTube before he ever told anybody even about an event. So what this is about doing the do. We want to make sure to give you this information, but we want to make sure that you're looking and going, some things just take time. If you look behind me, you'll see that I don't know which way to go. If you can see behind me, I have a bamboo plant. And I don't know if many of you know the story of a bamboo plant, but the first year, guess how much a bamboo plant grows? 1 year. Some people might just see dirt, but that bamboo plant is growing, right? Second year, all people see is dirt. Third year, people are going, oh my gosh, you're still doing that thing? Why don't you freaking just go get a fight? You're still like, have faith in that like bamboo plant, and you know that you're doing the do, right? Look at Eric and Marina. They went from an event that was 200 people and they stayed in line, right? Then they went to an event that it went to 600 people. Then it went to 2,000 people. Then it went to 8,000 people. Then it went to 15,000 people. Then with Marina's event this year, you guys, think about this, in less than 5 years of her doing the most powerful woman, went to 160,000 people. How many get this? So third year, it's growing like, another inch. Fourth year, another inch. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting frustrated. That fifth year, a bamboo plant can grow up to, guess what? 50 to 100 feet. How many of you would be willing to embrace today really embrace today. If you knew your business could grow and you could grow up to 100 feet in the next 5 years. Let's just see your show. Let me just see your hands. Let me just see who's out there. Let me see who's like, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to glow. Get active in the chat. Say, I. Let's do this. All right. So that was a little bit. And I thought that specifically because next week, anybody know what next week is? It's the beginning of the Olympics. So let's talk a little bit about the Olympics. One, you all are Olympic gold medalists, I believe, because there were 160,000 people, women and men, who joined that event. But you said, you know what? I'm gonna get the gold. I'm going for the gold. And what do Olympic athletes do? If you're a gold medal, you're, like I said, you're a gold medalist in my eyes. And with the opening games, like I said, of the Summer Olympics coming up in a week or so, I thought it would be perfect for us to use Olympians as a metaphor. I mean, think about it. What do Olympians do? What do the Olympians do? They dare to be what? Unreasonable. A lot of people go, oh, my God, you're not going to do that. That's impossible. How are you going to become the fastest? I mean, think about it. They have a vision. They have a vision that they say, and they make a decision. They make a decision that they're going to do this, and then they have a resolve. They have a resolve in their heart. They have a resolve in everything. Can you tell I get a little bit passionate about this? Sorry, this is it. They're getting the best of me today. I'll tell you that much. So here's the deal. What do? They get a resolve in them. And this is why you are Olympians. Because what else do? They get the best coaches in the world. They practice and practice and practice and practice. And then they take what they've learned and put it into action. They embrace the hard. Some of you, some of these exercises you've shared, I've been watching you over the past couple of years. You're like, you had to dig deep. It was scary, but they embrace that hard. And Olympians never stop when they're tired. They never stop when they're, sound familiar? Sound familiar about you? So just committing of you being here and learning from so many gold medalists, right? Look at all the gold medalists that you've learned from and what they do and how they get the gold. How they get the gold. You want to coach, you want people that are here. That's why Eric and Marina brought you these people who are getting results and go for the gold. So there's a lot of things that you guys have in common. And, I heard a story once from a friend of mine, one of my business mentors. His name is Philip. And I was in Boulder, Colorado. I think this would have been 5 years ago. And I was driving, unfortunately, to a friend of mine's memorial. She passed away very young at the age of 50. And I was driving to her memorial service, and I was talking about our profession. And he said, Loren, can I coach you for a second? I'm like, absolutely, Philip, what is it? And he said, I'm going to tell you something of what you need to be. And I want all of you on this line to commit to this. He said, you, Loren, need to decide to be the Michael Phelps of your profession. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you need to decide you're going to be the Michael Phelps of your profession. He said, you need to put on your goggles and swim. Because, and so here, just so you know, I keep my goggles beside my desk, every single day, so that I know when it's time to do my income producing activities, that I got my goggles here and I've got them beside my desk to remind me it's time to get laser focused. Get laser focused on what you want, how you really want to be seen in the world. Get in there and do those IPAs, that DMO, whatever you want to call it. But it's time. So let me ask you a question. How many of you are ready to be the Michael Phelps of your company? So who wants to share? Who wants to be the Michael Phelps of their company? All right. Let me see you. Put it in the chat. Say me. Let me just see. You want to be the Michael Phelps. But let me ask you a question. How many of you also, let me ask you a question about this. How many of you also know, I think there's somebody needs to mute his line. How many of you also realize what that means? What were some of the things that Michael Phelps had to say no to. And it's the distractions. Because here's the truth. The truth is, we need to stay connected to the dream. Remember why you first, somebody's line is open. Somebody's line is open. Anyway, you want to make sure that you stay laser focused, because here's what's going to happen. And this is what happens. And this is why the identity piece is so important. The one that I sent you is that you've got the dream. You remember why you signed up. You remember why you joined this amazing profession. You remember why you went to GoPro and why you joined, most powerful room. You remember that. But guess what happens? Reality tries to suck you back in. Reality tells you, oh, you can't be that. Can you imagine how many athletes out there were told that there's no way they're going to be the fastest people in the world, or, with regards to everything that's going on? So you got that. The good thing is that we're here to make sure that you claim your voice, and also that you go for the gold, because this is your time. This is your time. All right. So who thinks about this? I was going to play a little video for you, but I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to demonstrate for you. Who's ever been there that in 2000, maybe in 2019, like you're rocking, you're rolling, you're like, man, I got this. Like, this is awesome. Like, life is good. My business is growing. Things are so great. And you're just having a good time. You're like celebrating all over the place. And then guess what happened? You're driving down the road and a boulder lands on your car. Right? Maybe that would have been, we know what happened in 2020, right? But what is the difference? And the boulder fell on the world, right? But what did we do? The question is, what do you do when the boulder drops? When the rug is pulled out from you? What do you do? What do you do in times of crisis? How do you show up in times of crisis? That's why that identity piece and why these boards are so important. Everybody get this? How many of you, let me see if I can see in the chat, how many of you understand this? So this is more about, how do I need to show up no matter what the season is for me? No matter what the season for me. For me, here's what happened. I stopped, I reflected, I looked at like, okay, what does this really mean to me and how I show up in the world? For me, it was business as usual. Business as usual, because I have chosen this for my life of how I'm going to show up no matter what the season. And that's what we're going to do today. For example, how many of you were there? How many of you remember when 9/11 happened? Who remembers exactly where they were when 9/11 happened? Right? I happened to be in Hawaii at a program that Tony Robbins was doing. And so what we saw was that sad people got sad, angry people got angrier, even if they didn't know anything about, or have anybody related. And people that wanted to give, were looking for ways to give back. So you've got to notice, people that serve were looking for ways that they could serve others. And this is it. And so this is people who chose happy will be happy, not the happy that it happened, but happy and more grateful for the life. So this is that time. Like I said, this is a beautiful time for us. It's a time for us to reflect, to rediscover. It's also a time to really dig in and think about your life and the consequences of your decisions. Now, I know you did this with some of the exercises before, but here's also the truth. It's all about our beliefs. The beliefs about like who we are, what we stand for in the world, right? So what is this about for you? So here's what I'd like for you to do real quick. And I'd like for you just to grab, maybe, I don't know if they have any music. How many of you does this make sense? Let me see in our descriptions, like right there. Awesome. Okay. So who is ready to be an Olympian? This is not time to stop. This is time for you to go back to those coaches that you've been getting all for these past 6 weeks, to go back and really good, like what is their winning formula? Like what is it? And help you look at what is your winning formula for yourself, right? So we all know that there is unlimited potential that's here. Unlimited potential that's here on this, Zoom. But the difference between unlimited potential and someone who gets results is what? First, always, 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 it's about beliefs. Always about beliefs, what you believe about yourself, right? So I say to myself, I'm a fit, foxy, endurance vixen. That's a belief that I have, you know, kind of interesting right now going through menopause and feeling that way sometimes, but I have to what? I have to train my body to say I'm a fit, foxy, endurance vixen. And so let me ask you, I want you to write down a couple things about your beliefs. What are some things that you will no longer stand for? After going through this and seeing so many other women out there who've maybe gone through the same challenges that you've gone through, or hearing from some of the coaches what they've been through, maybe some story, or maybe Jessie Lee, or maybe, you know, Marina, or some of those other people. What are some of the beliefs? Just put it right here. What are some of the beliefs that you will no longer stand for yourself? I'm just going to read this. So talking about believing in yourself, I see that. I want you to think of beliefs, like some beliefs that you're no longer, that you're not worthy, right? Or that you're not enough, or that you're not, some of the beliefs, it's like you were so sick and tired of feeling this way. You're like, done. Like, I am so done. Let me ask you another question. What are some of the things that you've been justifying and you just keep doing? You just keep doing it. What are some of the things that you have justified and you continue to do it? Take a minute. Okay. Now, what are some positive beliefs that maybe you have? Let's just use your physical body. I shared mine, that I am, you know, I'm a fit, foxy, endurance vixen. Now, what are some beliefs about your business, about who you are and what you stand for? What do you believe? I'm a loving, caring, honest, congruent, passionate, loving person who wants to help, is here to help a ton of people. Oops, sorry, I'm going too fast. Keep going, keep going, keep adding that in. Great. How about, instead of I love the product, how about I am the product? I'm a walking example of the product. There's no difference. There's no separation. It's like, I live it, man. This is it. What you see is what you get. I'm here. I'm the real deal. You want to know what the product's, I'm it. I live it. Right? Now, why is this important? Why is this so important? Because you must claim it. The word we're going to really work on getting rid of today is the word want. Anybody ever been, I don't know if anybody in the South, anybody been to a Waffle House? Who's been to a Waffle House ever in their life? Waitress comes over, you're sitting at the table, and there's you and then your friend, and the waitress, and they're busy. They're like packed. The Waffle House is packed. And the waitress comes over and she goes, what do you want? And we're like, well, I'm not sure if I want to have this or I want to have that. And she's like, oh, what are you going to have? You know, she goes, what are you going to have? She actually doesn't say, what do you want? She goes, what are you going to have? Right? She doesn't say, what do you want? She says, what are you going to have? And so you go, well, I'm not sure if I want this or I'm not sure if I want this. And your friend goes, I'm going to have the eggs scrambled. I'm going to have the hash browns scattered, smothered, and covered. And I'm going to have raisin toast. What does the waitress bring back for your friend? She brings back the eggs, the hash browns, and the raisin toast. What does she bring back for you? Because you couldn't decide. What does she bring back? Nothing. Yeah, water. So she doesn't bring you anything back. So here's what here's what we're going to do today. We're going to decide. We're going to decide that we're Olympians. Because think about the different sports that are coming up this summer, right? They include some new sports for the Tokyo Olympics. Swimming. What I say? Anchors are a good thing too. So swimming represents, I'm just going to use maybe for me. Swimming for me represents vision, right? Swimming for me represents vision. Gymnastics. What could gymnastics? Maybe performance with grace and style and faith that you're not going to fall off the beam, right? Rhythm. It's all about momentum and movement, right? How many of you get this? Could this be flexibility, right? So what does that represent to you? Think about this as you watch the Olympics. Focus, style with performance, right? The dismount that you take that leap of faith that you're not going to fall, right? So think about, how does this apply to your business as you as an Olympian? As you as an Olympian in this profession? Maybe basketball, the ability to pivot and then dunk it, right? Like, is somebody going to pass it to you, or are you going to just go for it and just like, you know, you're dribbling the ball and then you got to pivot to what? To dunk it. Think about surfing. Surfing, the ability to ride the waves and be flexible and handle whatever comes your way. How many of you think that's important in this profession? How many of you are getting this? You'll see why. We're going to get to the board. I promise you we're going to get to the board, but you remember, this is not just about the board. This is about how we show up in our lives. And this is just a reflection of that. They have track and field. What is track and field about? Maybe charging through the finish line. You're there, you keep going. Once again, you got to keep focused with regards to, you got to see the finish line. You got to see yourself going. So what do all of these sports have in common? All of them have a few things in common. One, they set a goal. They set a goal, right? I'm going to have a dismount. I'm going to get a 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I'm going to do my time. So they set a goal. Two, they have clarity. Clarity, as we talk about all the time, clarity is power. When Marina and Eric decided to do that studio and they had less than 3 months to do it, 3 months to do it, do you think they needed to have absolute clarity? I will say to you, I think the biggest problem for people in this profession, and I've been in this profession for 14 years. I said no, just so you know, if you heard me at the event, for over 17 years because I had the I'm too cool syndrome, not for me. But what it was nobody really helped me understand, helped me set that vision and help me get clarity about what I needed to do. Clarity. Three, they all require belief. You don't go to the Olympics. You can't like get started in a sport and go, I'm going to go to the Olympics, but I'm really not good at this. And everybody says that I like stink at this and I'm never going to be successful. So belief. I don't know that I'm 5'2". I think that I'm 6'7", right? I don't know. I'm a little wired hair terrier. I think I'm my Rottweilers. That's what I think, right? But I show up in that belief. You guys get this? You ladies and gentlemen get this? Belief, belief, belief. Next thing is that they all require commitment. You know, a dear friend of mine would always say, especially with regards to this profession, you either give it a strong yes or you give it a strong no, but no wishy-washy dilly-dally stuff. So whether it's setting 15 minutes a day to work on your business, whether it's spending, 2 hours on your day, which is a lot, it's about what happens when you get commitment is you get momentum. And more than anything, they all require action. So as we talk about some of these things, what are the ones that you need to work on? What are some things to become an Olympian? What do you truly need to work on? I want to see you put in the chat. Is it setting a goal? Is it clarity? Is it vision? Is it belief? Is it, like I said, making that commitment? Is it the action? So let's just go ahead. All of the above, right? That's why you're here. All right, so let's see what we got. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. I want to see what you've got. I want to see more things in there. Clarity. We say all the time that clarity is power. But here's what I'll also share with you. There is no new information. We're just helping you understand this in different ways, but mostly clarity. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here today to help give you some clarity, to take all of this stuff that you've learned and kind of like go, oh, I got it. I understand. It's, oh my gosh, it's how I show up in the world. It's how, I'm not Jessie Lee. I'm not Stormy. I'm not a Emily Varva. I'm not those people. I'm not a Marina Worry. I'm my best me. I'm my best me. Like me, hate me, but I'm going to give the one thing I always promise, I'm going to give my very best. So before we begin to even plan or reset our vision, there's some things is that you have to remember that change is unavoidable. Change is unavoidable. It's going to happen. Things are going to change. Your kids are gonna go off to college, or they're gonna leave the nest, right? That's just gonna happen. They're gonna do that. But this is an important time to identify what's important to you, your values, your friends, an identity that cannot be compromised in challenging times, no matter what. So our focus is to be near term, like what's going to happen literally in the next week, then the next month, and then, and just to be smart about all of these different things. So, Yale did a study many, many years ago, and it was for the Yale Business School, they did a study, and they found that here's what I'll tell you. They took 100 people from their business school, and they decided, let's give them a little project. And here's what they found. They found that 3% from their MBA who wrote down those goals ended up earning 10 times as much as 97% of the other ones. 97%. I think that the other thing with regards to it was there were some people that the ones that actually wrote down their goals, right? Like that, I'm sorry, they didn't write them down, but actually thought about them. They earned twice as much as the people that didn't even write them down, the people that just didn't even write them down. In 2015, there was a study that showed when people wrote down their goals, they were 33% more successful in achieving them than those who just, thought about the outcomes in their head. And I know all week long, everybody's been talking to you about. So research of psychologists, of psychiatrists, of scientists showed that that goal setting is so important. And to see it once again as already done. That's the most important thing. A study at the Dominican University in California, it found that those who wrote down their goals had a 42% chance of achieving their goal too, right? So you got to make sure you do it. And part of our brain wants to come up with ways of why we won't do it. We need to say, thank you very much. Move on out of the way. I got this. I'm going to do this. So what is the profile, if you would, of someone that sets these goals, right? They are full of possibility. They have, they want to make sure that they're a little bit unreasonable. I know that they used to call me, they used to say, Loren, you have such lofty goals. I'm like, yeah, I do, right? So what do we need to do? Once again, let's think about that Olympic athlete. I think right here, I found an example of this, of visualization. When we talk about vision boards, it literally tricks our mind. It tricks our mind into rewarding us that we've achieved our goals, even though we haven't done it yet. All right. That's why you want a visual anchor up here. So I'll tell you a funny example. I don't know where it is. Oh, this board here. I don't know if you can't see it, but I'm just going to point to it. This right here. I love Barbara Walters. To me, Barbara Walters is my mentor. I was a journalism major. I love Barbara Walters. So I went to the Wax Museum, the Madame Trudeau Museum, I think it was in 2006 with my best friend. And we went there and I saw there was Barbara Walters. So I took this picture of my picture with the wax statue. Who's ever done it, right? You've done your picture. Maybe I've seen you guys at events with Eric and Marina, right? Taking your pictures. And so I took a picture of me and this wax statue of Barbara Walters. And I put it on my board, right? Love her. So there was a friend of mine, he was putting on this event in Canada. It actually was called Most Powerful, I think it was called The Power of Women was actually the name of it. This was in 2007. He was putting on this event. And I said, hey, Salim, I said, look, I see you're putting on an event called The Power of Women. Like I said, this was 2007. And I said, I would love to be your MC for the event. He's like, great. talk to, the office will call you and they'll give you the details. Well, I never heard anything. Anybody ever had this happen? You're like, dang it, man. Like, I really want to do that. I can't believe that it's not happening. He made a promise to me that I was going to be able to do that. Who's ever had that happen? They're like, see, it's not going to happen. Who's ever had that, right? So I'm like, yeah, there you go. Somebody with an empty promise, like not making it happen. But guess what? I had to get off my hiney and I had to be courageous and I had to message him. So I'm like, Celine, do you still want me to be the MC for your event? I need to know, right? Or something like that. And he sent me an email back and it said no in bright letters. And I'm like, oh man, okay. I'm like, okay, well, at least I know. And then it said, we don't want you to be the MC for the event. We want you to be a speaker for the event. You'll get all of the details, in the next couple of days. So I get the details of the event, and I'm not doing this to impress you. I'm doing this to understand this works, man, right? It works when you claim it in advance. And so he goes, no, we want you to be a speaker at the event. And he sends me, his assistant sends me the list of all the speakers. It's Aaron Brockovich, Jean Chatsky. There was another lady. And guess who else was a speaker at the event? You know the answer. Who knows the answer? Barbara Walters. And I was like, and Barbara went on actually, right, a couple of people before me, and somebody shared the story with her. And it's so funny, I got goosebumps on this. And here's a picture of me and Barbara Walters. But I love her. I don't know if anybody's, probably to me, one of the women in the world who just, and I switched that on my board. I'm like, who made that happen? I made that happen. I was scared, man. I didn't want to call him. I was like, see, it's not going to happen again. See, people are just doing that. And then I just went to the space. I'm like, I know who I am. I know the value that I'm going to add to the world. So it's time to think like a world-class athlete, envisioning crossing that finish line. How many of you got this? How many of you got this? It's time. So put in there, say, now it's time. It's time, it's time, it's time. It's time. It's time. Say, now it's my time. It's my time. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to think there was an Olympic gold medalist, and she talked all the time about creating vision boards. Her name is Nastia Lukin. And she said, I've got it right here. I've written this down. And she said, before the Olympics in Belgium, then she was 13 years old. She placed 3 images on her vision board. 1 was the Eiffel Tower. 2 was France, that was envisioning France, a BMW, and then the 2008 gold medal. She took home the gold medal. She also has a BMW, and she took a trip to Paris. But she did it what? She didn't do it. She did it before it actually happened. But she decided in advance she was a gold medalist, right? So you've heard this before. I'm sure people have told you, sometimes we go for some little goals. Why do we go for some little goals? Why do we go for little goals? Why do we go for little goals? Why do we go for the little goals? Why do we go for the little goals? Because they're not scary. If they're not scary, then they are not big enough. You think when Eric and Marina, I'm going to keep going back to them because they're such a beautiful example of this. Do you think when they decided to build a studio that was going to cost $22 million, that scared them a little bit? So that even this identity piece, is this important? Should it scare you a little bit? It should. So she's done vision boards. I think for her, she said that she does them every New Year's. I do them and she keeps them in front of you thinking, how am I going to be that gold medalist every day? It's not as if it's not wanting something, because what will that do create for you? It will create lack. It will create lack. We do not want lack. We want this as already done. I already am this person. This is who I am. Some things just haven't shown up yet, but this is just who I am. You guys you ladies and gentlemen, get this? Let me see your hands if you get this. Is this adding value? Let me know that you're getting some value out of this. Before we do anything else, just put in the chat what you've learned so far. Just put in the All right. We're having fun yet? Everybody stand up real quick. Shake your body out real quick. Everybody stand up. Let me see you shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out like you're about to do your dismount and you're about to take the gold. Come on, everybody. Do 1, 2, 3. Do your dismount. With regards to you got it. Beautiful. And you get 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 all the way across the board. Awesome. Awesome. So once again, in 2008, she was one of the 4. You look at the people that of winning, there were only a few women who had won gold medals, right? And then we know about Simone Biles, right? We know about her. So here's what we're going to be. We are going to be master manifestors and capturing our vision through our personal manifestation boards, right? So like I say, I do my every year, my birthday. Sometimes things happen so quickly. I'm like, holy doggies, that happened so quickly. I didn't even know. So then I have to make a new one, right? And so I'm going to give you some of my little special things that you probably haven't ever heard before, I hope. I know you haven't. So like I said, I've been refining this literally, you guys, for the past 30 something years. I keep adding new things to it and I'll share what it is. And I didn't do it alone. I've learned from a lot of people. So I make sure to edify where I've learned this information for. So I hope that you'll make sure to do that too, because edification, especially in our profession, is so important. Where you get information from or where you learn it from. How many of you have learned that as well? Because otherwise you're going to be sitting somewhere and someone's going to be telling your story and you're going to be like, hey, hang on a second. That story is like somebody else's story. So always edify. So get excited because you've got a bright future. You got your goggles ready. So here's what I'm doing. Talking vision. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to wake you up and I'm not going to let you fall asleep. Have you ever seen a movie or a picture or thought about something and go, man, I wish that could happen to me someday, right? And then you start thinking about it and you get so excited about it, like I said, and then you gave up. You gave up. You know, if you look, you know, for I think Simone Biles, for her, she tried gymnastics at 6 years old, part-time at a daycare field trip. A daycare field trip, right? Michael Phelps, the most successful and decorated Olympian of all time, and took 28 gold medals. He held the all-time record, right? Gold medal winner in 13 different sports. When he won 8 gold medals in the 2008 Beijing Olympic, he broke fellow Olympic Mark Spitz, who I just saw on TV yesterday, record, right? Michael Phelps said, Olympians, once again, this is what we do. It's what we're going to do all day. So we're going to put our goggles on and swim. So it's time to get fired up. It's time to get you going. It's time to kick you in the butt, if you don't mind. I promise you that when you start to condition these things, that you'll really start to learn. So here's the deal. We're going to close the gap from where you are and where you want to go in your life. So go ahead, if you would, go ahead and stand up and close your eyes. Go ahead and close your eyes. And feel yourself like you're growing roots, like literally like you're growing roots to the ground. Like close your eyes and just feel like you're growing roots. And just feel that and just say, I've got this. I got this. I got this. It's time for me to really be unstoppable. It's time. Think of a time, if you would, when you were truly, truly unstoppable. When like you felt like nothing could stop you. Maybe it was giving like childbirth. I know for me, right? Like I got to make this happen. It's going to happen, right? Like whatever it is. So think of a time and just feel it in your body like when you were truly unstoppable. What was your life like back then? What was your life like back then when you really felt unstoppable? What was happening? Were you in great shape? Were you surrounding yourself with great people? What was your life like when you really, really felt unstoppable? Maybe it's right now. I would hope through this, through this right now, that you would like looking at your life and go, man, I have never felt so great. What were you doing back then? What'd you do for fun? What were some of the things that you said, you know what, that's good for most people, but not for me? What was great in your life? What was great? How'd you feel? How'd you move your body? What did you think about consistently? What did you focus on? I'm telling you, after today, I'm committed that you're going to wake up every day and go, yes, that's who I am. That's what I stand for. Think of a time, though, when you lost momentum. Maybe you didn't reach your rank as quickly as you wanted. Maybe everybody said, see, you couldn't do this. And shake that off and go, that's so not the truth. That's that like little one going, see, don't listen to that. That's being sucked back into reality. It's time to let go of that BS and really, really, really claim your greatness right now. So ignite an even bigger candle than you could ever imagine. When I started, I said, when I started in network marketing, I said, I'm going to create an international business. And everybody said, well, Lauren, maybe you should start this. I'm going, nope, that's what I'm going to do. I decided it's not their dream. I remember Joel Olson saying, don't let anyone name your baby. It's your dream. How do they know? How do they know? How do they know what's possible for you? They don't know. You get to decide, and you get to decide right now. So for yourself, for your identities, how do you want to be known? I want to be known as real, I'm raw. This is an identity piece. I want you to really get active. We're going to go to a breakout room in just a second. I want you to think about, what is that identity? For me, I'm going to be real, raw, right from the heart. What you see is what you get. Badass and beautiful. It's who I am. It's what I stand for. I'm a girl who walks her talk. You walk in my house, you're going to see. Sure, there's chaos around, but that's okay. At least I'm doing the do. So what is the identity? Most important, right? Tony Robbins says this: people will do anything to remain consistent with their identity, even if it sacrifices everything that you want. What is it? What is this identity? And you get to create it right now. Just because, had an identity in the past, you get an opportunity, once again, in winter, right now, to create that new identity for yourself. What is that new identity that you're going to show up on that board and you go, yep, that's who I am. That's how I show up in my finances. That's how I show up in the world. That's how I show up in my business. That's how I show up in my health. These are the kind of people that I surround myself with. Yes, that's who I am. Who are you at your core? Or who have you decided right now? Right now, it's time for you to claim that new identity. You get this? This is your dream. You committed your time, you committed your money, you committed your resources to be here now. It's your dream. It's time now to not let anyone name your baby. On the count of 3, we're going to go into breakouts. You're going to share not from this place. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. You're really going to get into it as if the person that hears using might be the next person that takes your business to the next level, but you have no agenda. All we're going to do is we're going to go into this and we're going to go into our breakout rooms, and I want you to pick at least one identity and answer the questions in the group. And why is that identity so important for you? If I were going into the group, I would say mine is that I'm real, I'm raw, I'm right from the heart. As you see, I don't hold back here. I want you to know I care deeply. I want people to know that they matter. I want them to know I've been there. I get what it's like. I know the love. So you're going to go in there and you're going to just go in with passion. Who's ready for this? Let me see you say, I'm ready. Say, I'm ready. Come on, put in the chat. I want to know that you're ready. I want you to know you're ready. So if your eyes are still closed, which they should be still closed, so close your eyes still. And I want you to go, I got this. This is who I am. Feel yourself in your center and just say, I got this. This is who I am. I got this. This is who I am. I got this. This is who I am. 1, 2, 3. Head into your breakout room. See you in a bit. How was your exercise? How was your exercise? Who's getting a little bit clearer of how they're going to show up in the world? Who's going to get a little bit clearer? We always start with identity. Always, 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 always. And I think the challenge that happens for so many people when they make a manifestation word or when they do anything, they don't really anchor in that identity. And you might shift over time. I did bring a couple of samples of some identity ones I wanted to just show you up close. And we're going to go through this in just a little bit, but I've got somebody that's not muted yet. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit more. How did you find that exercise? How did you find that exercise? Let me know a breakthrough maybe that you got from that exercise about looking at your identities. Share, if you would, a couple of your identities, your new identities, because this, when you do get to your manifestation work, when you get to them, which is, just so you know, is going to be in the last 20 minutes. So I'm going to fire through. We're going to be here, as I told you, it was either going to be 90 minutes or 2 hours, but I want to give you my best of my best. So we're going to be here for another hour. So is everybody good with another hour? Who's going to hang on for another hour and be here with me and really play full out? Awesome. So tell me some of your identities with regards to that. Heck yeah, I love it. So mine was from 1 year. I was like, my identity is, you'll be able to see them. I'll share some of my boards with you. One is be a rebel, be the girl with the mind of a woman and an attitude, and be a girl with a mind, a woman with attitude, and a lady with class. So that was 1 year, right? Like claiming certain parts of myself as well. So you're looking at who you are. We'll go through a little bit about the I am statements, because that's my passion as well. Once again, been doing I am statements for probably the past 25 years. I'm loving, I'm honest, I'm passionate, I'm compassionate, I'm kick-ass, I'm full of faith, I'm God's girl, I'm too Raiders tight, I'm a sexy salsa dancer, I'm hilarious, right? And no one can take, here's the thing I want you to remember about identity. One thing I want you got to remember about identity. No one can take it away from you unless you give it to them. And too many times, especially in this profession, because you see only maybe a couple of superstars, you go, oh my gosh, that can't be me. But anchoring in those I am statements that they talked about, that Eric and Marina talked about, that we all talk about, I am. And that gives you that identity piece, once again, that we're talking about. Look at Walt Disney. He was fired from his first job because they told him he had no imagination. Actually, we're going to be doing something fun. I just met the head of creative, vice president of creative for Walt Disney for the past 25 years. Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield. Chicken Soup for the Soul was rejected over 140 times. And it's now sold. They didn't give up. They put on their goggles, say, like, I got this. We know who you are. We know what this can be. That's what they did. I know Mark very well. And then they've sold over 100 million copies. People are going to say no. People are going to doubt you. Be okay with that. Say, thank you very much. Move on out of the way. Michael Jordan. You know, I knew Michael Jordan when a friend of mine, Buzz Peterson, played at Carolina with him. You guys, he didn't even make his varsity basketball team. We talked about it. He was deemed too short, all of those things, but he envisioned this. He envisioned the list with his name on it. He envisioned, he saw these things. Colonel Sanders, another one from, I think, Weaverville, North Carolina, at 65. He got over 1,000 knockbacks before he started Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? We could go on and on and on and on and on with regards to this. Simone Bales. Once again, let's go back to Simone Bales. Just talk about someone who lives her belief and lives her like, I got this. That's going to be your new thing. I got this, my identity. She is won the most world medals, 25, and the most gold medals, 19 gold medals. And she had 3 siblings, and she was living in foster care until she was adopted by her maternal grandfather. She had a story that she could have bought into. But this whole thing is, most of us, I believe the biggest challenge for most of us is that we are emotionally constipated. Yes, you heard me. We are emotionally constipated. We like hold it in, we hold it in, and we never like get it out. So we need, I say everybody needs just a good old colonic, right? You need just to just let it go. Anybody had you know what I'm talking about, right? We can have some fun here, right? You ever you're holding it, and then you let it go, and you're like, oh my God, I feel so good. Who's been there? Or know somebody that's been there, right? That they're like, oh, they finally let it go, and oh, I feel so good. That's what we're going to do right now in the next couple minutes, okay? But obviously, you know me, because I want to make sure that yes, I know I'm a little crazy about this. We are about to have an emotional colonic together because 1, identity. 2 is getting very clear. Remember clarity that we talked about with regards to the clarity with our goggles, right? Our vision. So now we're going to go from identity to vision. And this is part of my manifestation process and something I've always done. And it started how many years ago? 25 years ago. So and once again, I've worked with Tony Robbins for the past 32 years. I started when I was 2, even though I'm going to be 56, but I started 32 years ago. And 25 years ago, I used to go to Tony's resort in Fiji, and I used to be the girl that would greet everybody. I was kind of like Julie from the Love Boat, and Tony called me and he's like, "Hey, Loren, I need you to come to Fiji." I'm like, "Dude, I can't come to Fiji. I just had a baby." And he goes, "Loren, but you're the only one, that all the people that from the airlines know, and the only person that they know to help organize everything." I'm like, "Tony, I told you, my kid's 3 months old. I can't go to Fiji." And he's like, "Look, we'll make it happen. I really need you to come to Fiji." So I got on the plane, I go to Fiji, and I'm like in this little beret, a little house. And like in one room was all the supplies for the event. And in the other room was my bed, right? So I'm like doing all the supplies. I'm sure all of you can relate to this, right? I'm over there and I'm running over there to work. You probably are doing this with your business. And then I like run over there to nurse my son. And then I run back and I'm working and I run back and forth. Who's been there, right? You're running back and forth between your kids, your dogs, the doorbell ringing, the whole thing. All of us are in this place now, right? And I'm running back and forth working. And I can hear everybody else outside on the jet skis having fun. Who knows what I'm talking about? You see your friends posting about their vacations and doing all these things, and you're working, right? And you're building. So I find myself, and I get a little peeved, if you would. And then I stop myself because I remembered who I am. I remember what I stand for in the world. And I said, "You know what? Stop, Loren. What is it that you're really going to have? What is it? What is it that you're really going to have?" And I wrote, and I've grabbed a poster board. So the back of your poster board, the most important thing. Oh, can you guys hear me? Sorry, can you guys hear me? When did you lose me? You can hear me now? I guess I muted it. We're going to have an emotional colonic together. This is going to be the largest emotional colonic we've ever done. Let's just celebrate that emotional colonic we're going to do together. All right. So here's what you're going to do. I caught myself and I was like, instead of getting upset that everybody was out there having a good time and I was working, I caught myself and I remembered like who I am and what I stand for. I'm the real deal. I'm loving. I'm honest. I'm compassionate. I'm full of faith. I'm God's girl. I'm 2 meter tight. All of those things. I'm badass. I got this. I know who I am. I want the world to see me, that I can travel and be on the road with my kid and still do all of these things. So I picked up my poster board and I decided to have this colonic on the back of my board. And it's what you're going to do right now. And I want to see everybody writing. What you're going to do is this. You're going to decide. That's it. So here's what I did. I said, I've written a book about how to be an extraordinary mom, and companies are going to pick away and hospitals are going to pick it up. And it's being this language and that language and this and that and blah, blah. Like if I was doing it today, which I did do this with my business, I said, remember, I've built an international business. I've done this. I've got people in this country and that country. And I'm being an inspiration around the world for this. And I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm speaking on stages, whatever that it is. And I'm helping others like say yes to the dream. And I'm going to help 10,000 people. Stormy's really good about this, right? Because she talks about having 1,000 families be millionaires. So I want you to, here's the exercise. You're just going to let it go. Nothing filtering you back. You're going to see it as already done. I have done this with my business. I am this. This is what we're doing. And the word you're going to use as the bridge is going to be and also, and also. And also, because what's the word we're going to really commit to negating? I loved hearing this from Duncan Waddle from Disney. A lot of times people, they put the word but in there. So no more buts. No words as want, no words as but. And this, and this, and this, and this. So before you do this, remember, before I want you to stand up, put your hand on your heart, tap yourself. I do this every time before I speak, before anything. You're going to claim it. It's like, now's the time. I'm having this colonic. I'm letting this done. So like for me, like I said, I've written a book about how to be an extraordinary mom, and companies are giving me hospitals in this language and that language. And these companies are this and this and that. And then at the very end of it, what did I put? I said, and so it is, or the words amen mean what? So it is. Claim it, right? This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this for about 5 minutes, and you're not gonna let your pen stop, but you're gonna go, here's what I've done, and here's what I've done, and here's what I've done, and here's how it's helping people. So who have you helped? Who have you helped? What's changed in the world because of your decision? Who have you become because of this? And what's gonna be the next step for the world because of this? So you do, and this, and this, and this, and I could also, and we're gonna also, and also, and also, and also. Are you ready? Are you ready? You're gonna see that. I'm gonna see you writing. So go, 1, 2, 3, go. Have your colonic, time for your colonic, time for your colonic. You got 5 minutes. Keep writing. There should be a couple tears here. You know, we say you want to make your why. If your why don't make you cry, we talk about that all the time, right? And then why this should bring you to tears of who you've helped, who you've served, who you've become because of this decision, because of this resolve, who you've become. Really get it go. Really get it go. No buts and no wants. Might take a little bit of time, but this is a big vision. Remember, we have some short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. Commitments. Three minutes left. Proud of you all for being so engaged. Love it. I love it. I am debt-free and I can give my grandchildren a leap towards their dreams. Okay. So how do you feel because of that? I want you to keep adding to it. It's going to be more. Who have you become because of you being debt-free? Who have you helped? What other people are you able to do? Keep going. You want to make this big. You want to really fill up the whole back. Imagine like a full page. Really, who have you become because of this? All right. Got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. I feel proud to have not stopped when I made financial and the bigger for them. I love feeling powerful and respectful. I want you to think of more areas. How are you? What is your identity in the world? How are you showing up in the world because of this? Are you coming out from a place of abundance versus scarcity? All right. How many of you got it? How many of you wrote it down? How many of you got it? So it is. Amen. There it is. So here's an example. I'm just sharing my example because it's a real example of what happened. So anyway, I finished like writing the board and I'm like, oh my gosh, that feels so good. Like, oh my God, like go. Well, that night we are all at dinner and that day, Tony Robbins created something called the primary question. The primary question is, what's the question you ask yourself over and over and again? It could serve you or it could not serve you. And so I had been working all day. So Tony comes in and he's like, hey, Loren. And I'm like, what? He's like, what's your primary question? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've been working all day while all of you have played. Who's done that before? Like, you don't mean to be mean, but you're kind of mean because you're like, you've been having fun and I haven't. And he goes, I go, you know what? And I go, I don't know my primary question. And he goes, well, your primary question is the question you ask yourself, like I said, over and over again. It could serve you or it could not serve you. And I'm like, well, I know my primary question. And my primary question is, what can I do to far exceed people's expectations and blow their mind, right? Like, so that's why I wanted to make something fun for you. Why I want to give you some exercises, why I'm going an hour, probably longer than we can, because I want to give you the best of the best, everything I got. I want to hold anything back. So Tony looked at me and he said, yep, Loren, I'd have to agree with you there. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, Tony, sometimes I'm just sick of living everybody else's dreams except my own. And I'm like, oh, dude, like that was not very smart to say it because I was an employee at the time. And he looked at me, he said, yep, I'd have to agree with you there. And he goes, what is it that you want? And I went to the state of like a Terminator state, you know what I'm talking about? I'm like, wah, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, it's not what I want. I go, Tony, I've written a book about how to be an extraordinary mom, and you've written, I go, and this and this and this, I go, and you wrote the forward to it. And you know what he said? He goes, I look forward to reading it. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to do this. Because what? I did something that is probably one of the most powerful things you can do now, which is make a public commitment. Take that, what you just said that you were going to do, and you're going to make yourself a public commitment, right? I love what, so what is it? Who is something? Maybe it's your group that you just did. Maybe it's a Facebook group, whatever that it is, make a public commitment. And what are the actions that you're going to take? That DMO, post your DMO, post your, income producing activities, whatever that is. So anyway, guess what happened? I got it done. Well, here's the first thing I did. The first thing I did was I made a board. And I made a board and I went into these, I made the board and I went into, okay, what is it about? So I took this picture of this mom and this baby. And this is an organizing principle for you, for your boards in a little bit. As I took this picture of this mom and the baby, once again, this was 25 years ago, not when your everyday person was writing a book, right? So unless you were a celebrity or a fitness professional, you weren't going to have a book written. So anyway, I took this picture of this mom and this baby. I'd gone to Barnes & Noble, grabbed all these books, the books that I liked. I took this picture of this mom and this baby, and I put all of these things around the board, and I did my emotional colonic, and I go in all cocky to this event that I was doing. And I'm like, yeah, like I've written this book and this and that. And this lady named Marilee Heck, she's not around anymore, but she comes up to me. She goes, Loren, do you know that mom and that baby? And I'm like, no, I don't. She goes, it's never going to happen. And I'm like, oh, come on, Marilee, it's me. You know it's going to happen. She goes, Loren, it'll never happen until you switch that picture. So the most important thing about these boards, photos that you put on the board need to be photos of people that you know, or people that maybe mentors that you want. If not, I know this isn't very nice of me, but I'm just going to say it as it is. You are going to cut their heads off. You see that? You want to cover their heads. You want to cover their eyes. You want to cover everything above, because you want to imagine whose body on that body. My body, not her body, that other person's body. So we're cutting the heads off people, right? So then I end up, I go, Marilee, you know it's going to happen. She goes, not going to happen until you switch that picture. So I went and did a photo shoot. Anybody remember back then where there were you had to do the actual, there was film and you had those, what were they called? Those sheets where you had to review all of the pictures and circle the ones, the picture you wanted. So I think we did like 500, maybe someone can remind me of the name, negatives. And then they took those proofs that they'd have to do all the different ones on the little sheets. Anyway, I circled the picture that I wanted to use. I switched the picture, swear to you, switch the picture of a picture of me and my son, who was, just a baby at the time. And a week later, my kid's dad comes running out of my dad's office with a fax. Does anybody remember a fax, Comes running out with this fax that my book had been picked up by a major publisher. Who put that out there? Me. I decided in advance that I was an author of this book, that I decided that was to do this. It's a long story, but I want you to decide identity piece. This is who you are, what you stand for. The story goes on, but I want to focus more on you about and how you do this board. All right. So we want to, once again, who has this helped? Who have you become? What have you been able to create? What's in the future of what you're going to be able to create? So all of those elements must be there. You want to put a specific date. If that date doesn't happen, what do? Move the date. You move the date. But what we're going to talk about now, is this helpful for you? How many of you get this? So this board is not about things we're going to have It's who we're going to become. And we're dividing it into 9 quadrants. The 9 quadrants, if you see, I don't know if they have the handout there, maybe we can put it up, but if not, it's okay. I'm going to tell you. You have the handout right there. Great. You've got the handout right there. So in your far right corner is something called helpful people. You guys see that? Helpful people. Helpful people is the category that we're going to focus on in just a minute. Helpful people. It might be someone you want to meet. It might be your team. It might be your spouse. It's who are those people that we always talk about and I think somebody else shared it a couple of weeks ago, but who you surround yourself with is who you become, right? So you got to take a hard look at who are those people in your life that are influencing your decisions. You get this? I remember when I wrote my first book and I went up to Bob Proctor, who I love and adore, and I know Eric and Marina do as well. And I said to Eric, Bob, I go, Bob, I don't get it. I wrote a book. Why aren't people excited for me? And you know this with our profession. Bob came up to me and he said, Loren, it's not that they're not excited for you. They're afraid you're going to leave them behind. And you're going to find people that inspire you, to help you dream bigger, that help you do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So I want you to remember that as well in this profession. It's not, that they don't support you. They're afraid you're going to leave them behind. Get it? They're afraid you're going to change. You're going to lose that one thing that's so important to us, right? Which is love and connection. So helpful people. And I'd like you to take a minute right now and just write the names, maybe of some people, of helpful people. Who are some people that need to be in that helpful people category for you? Why is having a strong, group around you of helpful people, why is that so important to you? Why is that so important for you? Why is that so important for you to have those helpful people, as those people around you, people that inspire, people that you want to meet, all of those things. Like I told you, Barbara Walters was in there, and I switched the picture of me being with her with the wax statue to being with her live. Guess what? It took 4 years, but I still met her, right? I still had her on my board. So what is it? So who are some of the people? Exactly. People that lift you up. Maybe some people it might just people that you want to meet, or people that you listen to, you read their books, you go to their event. Like here's a funny one. Here's one of my boards from, God, I'm trying to think what year this is, 2015. So this is from 2015. And I think that, I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, so you see in my helpful people category, I did this board with my son, who's 25 and in the profession as well. And he goes, hey, and we were doing our boards together. And he's like, keep writing of some of those people. And I'm just gonna talk as we write. He goes, yeah, so Rich, what happened, he goes, Mom, let's put Richard Branson on our board. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'd like to meet Richard Branson, but he's not like top on my list of, I respect him immensely. He goes, Mom, just put him on your board. So put him on your board. And so I was like, okay, so I put Richard Branson on my board. And I put, also that year, I had put Eric and Marina, because they had talked about the Starkey Foundation and about being able to do a mission trip with the Starkey Foundation. So Eric and Marina are always on my board. You see the most powerful women. This was, like I said, 2015. So anyway, I go to our conference, and our conference, unfortunately, was the same time that Network Marketing Pro was happening. And I was like, okay, what do I do? My friends are like, find out what specials were offered at the GoPro event this year. And so I said, can you send me the sheet for like what's offered? And guess what, y'all? No joke. It was that if you bought 100 pack of tickets, guess what happened? If you bought 100 pack of tickets, swear truth here. If you bought 100 pack, guess what happened? You could meet who? You know the answer to this, Richard Branson, right? So I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I put that out there. So I want you to, once again, who are some of those people in your helpful people category? What are, 2 or 3 outcomes that you have for that helpful people category? Maybe it's like going to an event, maybe it's meeting them, speaking on a stage. What is one of those things? So helpful people. The one right above that area right above the helpful people category is creativity. Creativity. What parts of you do you need to unleash with your creativity? Right? This is called the Bagua, and I learned this once again from my friend Marilee Heck. does a lot about feng shui. I'm sure a lot of you know a lot more than I do about feng shui, but we're feng shuiing our boards, if you would. So we got that. So we're looking at our creativity. How are you going to unleash your creativity here? Right now, as we come and we've pivoted and we innovate, I would suggest creativity with regards to identity and how are you going to expand your identity? How are you going to expand your team vision? What is that for you creatively wise? Above that will be your intimate relationships. Your intimate relationships. If you're in a relationship, right? How are you going to take your relationship to the next level? What are two or three things that you're committed to in your intimate relationship, right? My husband and I, no matter what, we have a date day. We have several, right? We have a routine now of something that we've implemented since this new time. That afterwards we walk our dogs at 3:45 a.m. Yes, I know we're crazy. But then also what do we do? We have a routine of what we're going to do and what we're going to do and what we're going to do with our relationship, your intimate relationship. The middle one, which to me is the most important one, once again, is identity. Who are you? What do you stand for in the world? How are you going to show up? And once again, no one can take that away from you unless you give it to them. So what is your identity? What is your identity? I really want to hear those identity pieces and what are some of the commitments now? Like for me, like it's looking at like how I've been, it's time to reinvent. Someone who's wonderful, maybe an example of reinvention all the time is Madonna, right? She's always reinventing herself. You don't know if you're going to get a material girl or a contribution woman or this and that. So she's always constantly you don't know what she's going to show up as. The last one like kind of freaked me out, right? Like if her crashing the car and like the whole thing, but I'm like, woo, okay, right? So anyway, what is that reinvention time? Thank you so much for playing full out with this. A lady who's laughing, I can't see who you are, but I like you, Erica, I think that is. Okay, so what is your identity? How are you going to be seen in the world, right? How are you going to be seen in the world? I had Madonna on one of my boards. This one there, you can't really see it there, but I'll send it to you because at that point in her life, contribution was really big for her. And she was very big into the Raising Malawi project. And I ended up going to Malawi and working on that project and doing all those things. Like I said, so look at how are you going to reinvent yourself? How is that identity piece right now? What were some of the things that you noticed about yourself during that identity exercise? So what are 2 or 3 outcomes that you have for identity? Next, middle part is health. Health is that middle one. So maybe, you put a picture of a body. You guys see that? You see that? Eat right. So the middle part is the health part. All right. Here's another one, just ones that I can show you that are here. See? So middle part is health. So what are 2 or 3 outcomes that you have for your health category? Yes, no head on body. I saw, yes. So you're going to cover her head. Cover her head because I imagine my head on her body. Got it? Everybody see it? The reason you see faces of the other ones is because those are my kids, right? So we're going to think of let's write before we ever put pictures. Before we ever put pictures, we're going to first do what are our outcomes for that area of health. What are 2 or 3 outcomes that you have? Why do you really need to make that happen? Why must you be congruent, with regards to that? And maybe, so think about that. And then we're going to put the pictures on top of it. The bottom middle one is related to our work, right? Like our Juice Plus, our profession with regards to our profession. Right? We're looking at our profession. Your company maybe that you work with, right? So what is your profession, if you would? And what are some outcomes that you have? What I love about the one with regards to my, my network marketing career is I put names of people on my team. And I put goals that I have specifically for them. And I show them, hey, you're on my board. You're what I see every day, right? So they know it's not just about who. They know it's not just about me. You guys get this? Next one, the top left corner is financial. So if you were with me when I did the one at the most powerful women, What do I want to do? You want to create a, I told you that my health one is that I'm a fit, foxy, endurance vixen. My one about finances is a billionaire babe, right? So give yourself an identity for that category, not just the category of finances. So I call myself a billionaire babe. I used to call myself a millionaire mama. I'm like, okay, well, got that. Let's go to billionaire babe, right? Why limit myself? Who's putting those limits on myself? Only me. So what's your category for financial one? Who do you want to help? What are some of the outcomes, right? How do you need to show up every day? What do you need to do? Is this helpful for you all? Let me see a show of hands that you all are getting this, that you're understanding. This is, and you can do it. Look, I know there's lots of ways that people do boards. I know people say you can use digital pictures and you can do all these things. Here's what I will share with you. And I know they're all amazing. They're all great. But the more associated, the more, I want you to get this, the more you are associated you are to the process, the better results you're going to get. That's my belief. So if I'm collecting pictures, if I'm collecting pictures, if I'm literally ripping pages out of something, if I'm literally cutting them out and putting them on and being intentional about everything that I do on this board, because once again, it always comes back to identity. Who gets this? So you can do it however you want. I'm just showing you one that I know works. And I know works for many, many years and has worked for so many other people as well. But you can do it however you want. But once again, and what this whole program that Marina put together, the whole outcome of the program is, how do you take all that you've learned to create that ideal life? You don't just have a category of health. You have relationships in your life. You have people in your life that you need to be aware of who's in your life or not, right? It's not just one thing. It's not just your business, right? Oh, please don't fall asleep on me, Carol. We got this. We got this, Carol. We're moving ahead. So everybody stand up real quick. Stand up and shake your body out. Shake, 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 shake. Shake your body out. Everybody doing okay there? I'm just watching my time. I want to be respectful of your time. All right. Next one. Who's made some distinctions here? Anybody make some distinctions? Give me a thumbs up if you've got some distinctions, if this makes sense to you. Awesome. Next category that we have is our family, right? So family. And then the other one right below that, the far left corner one, is what we call skills and knowledge. What do you want to learn? What are the things you want to learn? What are the experiences, right? What are some of the experiences you want to have? So skills and all. What skills do you need to learn? How many of us had to learn to be really creative with the computer? Like this morning, I was learning how to connect my ear pods to my computer. I didn't know how to do that, right? Knew how to use something else. So I'm not saying that you're going to put that on your board, but I'm like, just skills and knowledge. What do you need to learn? So we're looking at this, and this is your life. You get this? This isn't just one thing with regards to it. Now, my other couple top little secrets about this board and that make it different, there's three things I'm going to share with you. I write specific outcomes that I want for each category. So remember how I told you to write those outcomes in each of those areas? Who got that? So they wrote specific outcomes. So I'll use an example. So this year that one year, it was 2000, like I said, 2014. I'm exactly right. It was 7 years ago. It was my son to go on this birthright project. That's when I met Eric and Marina. Remember, he was supposed to go. So I use my label maker. I love my label maker. So I'll write the specific outcomes that I have on a label, and then I will put it on my manifestation board. My son to go to lacrosse camp, my daughter to do a trip, my son get accepted to Ole Miss, right? So I'll write specific outcomes that I have. So something financially, like a new home in Canyon Gate. Yay, that's cool. That's where I live. And that was 7 years ago. This is a cool one that I pulled up, right? So you're going to write those specific outcomes. And then when they happen, guess what? I give myself a little star. So if we go, or when it actually happens. So I'll use those little dots, those little, just like, little round dots, colored dots. So you go, okay, when did I get I know that we bought this home in March 2014. So yay, I made it happen. Yay, I did it, right? Or Quinn went to camp, lacrosse camp in July 2014. Yes, Josh got accepted to Ole Miss in June of 2014. So I can go back and look at this and fill myself up to see the momentum that I get. You get this? I have one on my, should I show you? Should I show you? Let me see if I can show you. Oh, where is it? Where is that one picture? See if I can find it. Anyway, so you're going to look at this. We're going to take about, we have 15 minutes left here with regards to the whole exercise. But how many of you does this make sense? Does this make sense? So you're going to take it, and then the last thing that I do is that I laminate it. I laminate it. Why do I laminate it? Once again, we're going back to, because so it is. So it is. We're going to go back and we're going to laminate this page. Now, here's what I am going to share with you. This should not take you just like 15 minutes. It might take you a week. It might take you 2 weeks to do it. Take your time, because the outcome, once again, is you're going to put this in a place. Like for me, I put them in my bathroom. I'm a little obnoxious about it. You can't even see a mirror because you just see all these manifestation boards that are around, with regards to that. So here's what I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then we're going to go into a short breakout room for like 5 minutes. We're going to go in just for 5 minutes where you're just going to quickly share a couple things. I want you, the one that you're going to focus on, we're not going to the breakout rooms yet, but I just want to tell you this because I want to finish the loop on something, is that if you really claiming your identity, if you really setting the intention and owning this, if you could save someone's life by you having that emotional colonic and be willing to be as daring as possible, would you go for it? If I could guarantee you, and I mean guarantee you, that you would save someone's life by you having that emotional colonic, saying, you know what, I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm going to put this board in front of me and I'm going to remember the truth of who I am, of what I stand for, of what I need to do, of the people that I need to surround. If I could guarantee you that you would save yourself, I know we all say, of course, right? But most of the time, what I've seen in my 32 years of personal development, and it's consistent across the board. And I acknowledge all of you for being here, but I'll tell you the challenge, and it happens all the time, over and over and over again, you guys, is self-help becomes shelf-help. And we don't want that. This community of companies coming together, where do you have companies coming together and we're all cheering each other on? That's unbelievable, right? We're all saying, you go, girl, you got this habit, you got this and that. So here's what I see. We want to make sure that why this is kind of the integration piece for you with regards to this course that Marina's created. Why this piece is the integration piece for you is because it's time to live it. And you see it in front of yourself every day and you go, yes, that's who I am. Yes, that's what I'm going to accomplish. Yes, those are the kind of people I'm going to surround myself. Yes, I've got this. Who understands what I'm talking about? So this is, for me, a non-negotiable in, making sure that we live this. But let me close the loop on the story. So anyway, my book, once again, it was picked up by this major publisher. The whole thing was kind of cool. But the reason that what happened was I had sent these books to everybody for presents, for the holidays. And back then, I would buy them off Amazon, and I had this pretty box, and I shipped them to all these people. And one day I asked my kid's dad to take a book to these ladies, and he's like, why are you sending that lady a book? She's not even a mom yet. I'm like, send the book. I didn't ask for your commentary, right? So a couple months later, I go to an event. I'm working this event, and I see this woman there. And I go, actually, a story back up. Actually, I'm back it up just a second. I got the book, the galleys of the book. This was before PDF files. Anybody remember this? Before PDF files? And I was in Geneva, Switzerland. And I needed somebody from New York to come bring me the galleys of the book, which is the layout of the book. So my friend brings the galleys of the book, gives it to me. I run over. I'm looking at the galleys of the book. And as I'm looking at the galleys of the book, this guy comes up behind me and he goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm looking at my book. And he goes, oh, we'll take it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't get it. The book's not out yet. And he goes, I said, we'll take it. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's a language gap here. Maybe I'm not making any sense here. And he goes, I go, the book's not out yet. These are just the galleys of the book. And he goes, I know. We are publishers in Spain. We'll take your book. And I'm like, so my book came out in Spanish before it even came out in English. But guess why? Because I put it out there. You guys, we can all grow international businesses with most of us, right? But you've got to put it out there. Don't listen when people say you can't do this and that. Look at all the people you've seen on Eric and Marina's stage who've grown amazing businesses because they decided. You get this? It's a decision and it's a resolve. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's in a different country. Nowadays, and with all of these events, the GoPro coming up in December and everything, you can invite people from all different countries. This is just a metaphor. You guys get this? It's not me about anything that I've done. It's a metaphor for a decision and a resolve. So anyway, I ended up, like I told you, I sent people the books for Christmas. A couple months later, I'm at an event, and this lady that I sent a book to, she's amazing. Her name's Holly Tudemacher. So I love when people send Holly Tudemacher, send her a Facebook message and tell her you heard the story because she hears it all the time. And she goes, Loren, oh my God. She was running up to me and she comes dragging this woman behind her. And she goes, Loren, oh my God, thank you for sending your book to me. I want to tell you how much it meant to me. It meant so much to me that I'm going to Russia to go adopt a baby girl. And she goes, and Loren, this is a lady I work with. She's the diversities manager at the company I work with. She goes, and she wants to give your books to all of our new parents. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. She goes, I go, oh my God, I'd sign the books. You know, I signed, and the lady goes, you'd sign them. I'm like, of course I'd sign them. She goes, you'd sign every single one of them. I'm like, oh, of course I'd sign every one of them. I go, what's the name of the company anyway that you guys work for? And she goes, the Kellogg's Company. And I'm like, oh my God. But who put it out there? You get why I'm telling you the story? I'm telling you the story so you implement it into your life and you decide. You get this? I decided, I said when I did that emotional colonic, it's going to be written in different languages. Companies are going to give away. Hospitals are going to give it away. It's going to be that, and this person going to endorse it, and this and this, that. So you decide. The most important thing that you can do and what this manifestation board is, let me tell you what this manifestation board needs to be. This manifestation board needs to be the mirror. The mirror. It's not what you want. It's who you are. It's what you've decided. You know, so it's just like our business, right? It was great. Some cool things happened. Some great people came into my life. Who's ever had that in your network marketing business? Great people come in. It's like, great, it's good. And you're like, I should be grateful. I should be grateful for all that I have. I know I'm supposed to be more grateful. Who's been there? And you're like, I know I should be more grateful for everything that I have. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But there's some part of you like this, I still want more. Who's been there? That's okay. That's a great thing. So an opportunity came along for me, a big opportunity came on, and this is how I decide whether or not to do things. I say, if I say yes to this, am I staying true to myself? So I want you to think about that as well. You know, like I think Eric mentioned it. Oh, he just mentioned it in the Next Level Mastermind about, just making sure you are living your identity and you're not sabotaging or putting yourself just for the short term of things. Got it? So anyway, a couple years go by, and Ronald McDonald Home wanted some of the books, and I went, and Amazon didn't have them, and the publisher didn't have them. Guess what everybody said? Because this is what happens in our business as well. Everybody said, you know what, Loren? It's just 175 books. Why are you going to do it? Right? People say, oh, you're just making a little bit with network marketing. And I said, thank you very much. Move on out of the way. They say, Loren, it's just this. And I said, move on out of the way, move on out of the way, move on out of the way, move on out of the way. And when someone says, do it, that's what the people that you're going to have in that helpful people category, you guys, are the people say, go for it. I believe in you. Yes, I'll try your product. Yes, I'll try the business. Yes. So those helpful people are the most important thing. you know? And guess what happened? I said, yes. I said, great, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get these 155 books. Guess what happens? Because you say yes, more opportunities come your way. It was in Target, right? So you never know, but you've got to step through those doors, and our profession offers that. But it starts here. It starts here with you looking in the mirror. This is your mirror in all areas of your life. So I know we've got 5 minutes left. I want to take you. Has this been helpful for you? How many of you get an important why? Manifestation, not just a vision board. You are going to set the vision. You're going to set the intention, which is vision. You're going to get off your hiney and you're going to do the activities that it's going to take. And then you're living it. You're living it in all of those different areas of your life. You're living it. Look, you know, like the worst thing that I could do is to compare myself to everybody else. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself to everybody else with regards to this. Decide who you are. Decide, you know, that this is your baby. Decide that I'm going to, you know, make sure that you can take your time to this. You can put things on your board. It's okay. It's not about that. But a couple things I will share with you. Make sure you put other people on your board, especially in your career part, and let them know of the goals that you have and the outcomes that you have to have them on the board. Make sure you like celebrate yourself, you know, make sure you do your emotional colonic. Make sure you order up, right? Order it up. Like I talked about the Waffle House, order it up. Don't say, I want this. I'm not sure what I really want. Decide. And once again, it all starts with identity. I hope that this has been helpful for you all. I look forward. Oh, I'm going to give a prize for, I'm going to be giving away. I just found this. I thought it was so cool and so Marina. So I just, I know I was going to send it to Marina, but I thought I'd just offer it to you guys. I've found this badass candle. It's such a cool candle. It says badass on it. So you like it, right? Like you like it. So I'm going to, those of you that start submitting your boards, I'll pick a board and I will send one of you this badass candle. And it is an honor. I'm so grateful to have Eric and Marina and all of you, Sandy and everybody who's behind the scenes supporting this. I hope that I think that this course has been amazing. I think you've gotten a lot of nuggets, but I just want to make sure you implement. I want to make sure that you walk away and go, yes. And that every year I'm here to support you every step of the way, as I know Marina is as well. She's got a lot of people that are here. So that's it. I'm out.
Thank you, everybody.
Hang on. I got my goggles on. Sure I can stop I'm ready. That, but... I'm ready. I can't see very well because they're not prescription.
Thank you. This was really wonderful. And I hope that you can go back and watch this and, you know, take notes. I've been like looking at all these little things that I have written all around me and just getting ideas and typing lots of notes and using the PDFs. And I'm really excited to get started on this. And like they said, you know, you may not get it done in a day or an hour. It might take you a week. It might take you 2 weeks, but it's powerful. Tag your teams on it, you know, become that leader in your business. You want this for you. So someone in your business, even if you're just getting started, tag them, bring a friend in on this and let them know that they can create the life of their dreams as well. So thank you all so much for being a part of this today. Have a beautiful day. Take care.